Good evening, everyone. I'm Pooja Kanwal. Firstly, a very, very happy Father's Day. This one's really special because I think we're a little biased. We're always speaking about women, women's rights, women empowerment, and mothers. But this one's for our unsung heroes that are quietly, subtly doing so much for families, for societies. And on this Father's Day, we couldn't have celebrated it in any other way, in any better way than putting this lovely panel together that Woodpecker Media has curated, and we're going to introduce one by one. We've got three fathers that have done phenomenally well in their respective fields, and we've seen their work, but we don't know the work that goes on behind, the work on fatherhood that they're consistently putting out there to making stronger, better, happier families. And we've got a wonderful child who I think is a great son. Probably when we see him on screen, we always hope, wow, his father's so lucky. We all should have children like this. So without wasting much time, let me introduce them one at a time. First up, Romit Raj Prasher. Welcome and very, very happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A very good evening to you and everyone who's watching us. And it's a very, very special day. It's a Father's Day. And I must say that, I just posted a picture where with my daughter. And my wife was also there, and I wrote that, it might be Father's Day, but I must say that if my daughter says that I'm the best dad in the world, it's only possible because of my wife, who's a mother to Reha, and she is an amazing mom. And I think on Father's Day also, I just can't edit her out of the pictures.
What a beautiful note to start this on. And on this note, let's call another very fine actor who we've loved watching on screen, Manav Gohil. Welcome and happy Father's Day. Manav, please unmute yourself so we can hear your very nice voice.
Okay, sorry about that. So
No
yeah, thank you
worries.
so much for having me. And yeah, it's great to be a part of a celebration that is Father's Day. And today I have been feeling special for a change. Thank you so much for the extension.
We're so looking forward to connecting with you. But now, without wasting much time, let's call Mr. Brahmanand Singh, a national award winning filmmaker and also the founder of Mobius Films, who dons many hats. He writes, he's a life coach, producer, director. Wow, sir. We've seen all your lovely work, but you're also a great father. So, a very, very happy Father's Day to you.
There are pleasures, there are pains, but I think overall it's a very, very enjoyable journey for anyone. And a lot depends on what stage of your fatherhood are you. Are you father of a 5-year-old? Are you father of a 12-year-old? Are you father of a 20-year-old? Well, it keeps differing, but essential things, let me assure, remains the same. That is
Wow,
life.
I think each stage comes with its own challenges, its own set of joys, which is why it was so nice to have you here to speak of another different stage altogether, which a lot of us are still waiting to experience. But we'd love to hear in today's conversation a lot more about it from you. But first, let's welcome another very special guest of yours. Her ma, her baap, her mother, her father wants a son like him because he has actually proved what good parenting can do, the heights it can make your child reach. Let's welcome Akshat Singh, who has made such a wonderful mark as an international child star, child dancer on so many huge platforms like Britain's Got Talent. Welcome, Akshat.
Hello, how are you? So this is Akshat Singh, and today is the day of my hero, my dad. And so I made something for him today, and I wrote that dad, as you know, that I like a lot of superheroes such as Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man too. But till the time I have you, I don't need them. So I love my dad. It's the day of my dad. I'm gonna be happy and make others happy.
That was so beautiful, Akshat. If I may take the liberty to say, that was on behalf of all the children to all their
Yeah,
dads, because there couldn't have been any better way of putting it. And you're
correct.
really going to make your dad proud.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So let's start with this lovely discussion put together, curated by Woodpecker Media. We're going live on their page. They've been putting a lot of interesting panels in the last couple of months. I think they've made our lockdown very, very not just interesting, but very enlightening as well. But before we start, I'm going to request everyone to please keep yourselves on mute and may just go off mute, unmute yourself when I come to your question. So first up, I request everyone but Manav to go on mute. My first question is for you, Manav, because we see a lot of you with your daughter on social media. So first up, just simply describe fatherhood.
Describe fatherhood. I think Uh, it is life revisited for me. And for every father,
Wow.
I'm sure they'll relate to what I'm saying, or mothers for that matter. I think parenthood is so amazing. It kind of culminates your entire existence into a new possibility that you never thought you could be. As a matter of fact, I think Zara's coming has defined or redefined me, the way I
Yeah.
look at myself. So sometimes I feel that everything was all the challenges, all everything that one has gone through in life was provisional for one to become a father one day and be that star of one child who you will decide with all your life, every cell of your body to nurture and make and give them the best life, right? And so I think Zara culminates me into one bundle and around her finger as well, but mostly in a bundle where I become who I am. So I think that's fatherhood for me. It's amazing. Yeah.
That is so beautifully put. I think little girls do have their dads wrapped around their little finger,
Absolutely.
and they're all daddy's girls. They're the weakness of all
Absolutely.
fathers. Moms probably sometimes have to play the stricter part. In fact, interestingly, for those of our viewers that don't know, Manav, Romit, and me, we all three have something in common. We have baby girls born in the year 2012. They're all ranging between 7.5 to 8 years, so we can really relate
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're going through a very similar stage in parenting, all three of us in our own respective ways. But right now, let's speak to Brahmanand sir, because your son sir is at a different age, a different stage which we haven't gotten to yet. We don't know the challenges that we're going to be facing, the joys, and of course, parenting changes in different times. So, how much of how has your experience been with the different stages up until now, and how much of your father do you remember while raising your son? So please unmute yourself. Sorry, we're going to have to make everyone do this mute,
So I
unmute
think the best
exercise. I'm the
part
only one
of
that gets away with it. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
yes. So I think
Yeah.
the best part of fatherhood is that you revisit your own childhood and your own relationship with your father, which starts, making sense to you. And here we have two options. One is, well, if you have had a beautiful childhood, then you pick a lot of those things and you spread it back to the next generation again. And in case you have not had a very good childhood, then you learn from that and you don't repeat
True.
that. But
True.
many of the fathers or mothers, they don't manage to do that. So I think the key lies there. For me, yes, I have been through the stages that you people are going through, and I'm now at a
Mhm.
stage where I have an 18, 19. He will be 19 in July, and
Wow.
so yes. But I have put my trust in just one thing, which is love, affection, understanding, freedom, and knowing your child. I think if you know your child, what makes them tick, what makes them, what keeps them going, what turns them on, what doesn't turn them on. These are very, very huge elements that all of us as good fathers probably needs to have a natural grasp on. I mean, I don't think that fatherhood and motherhood, these are things that can be taught through workshops and
So
conscious
true.
parenting. Say, yeah, all those things never happened. I mean, really, well, you can be mindful, yes, you can learn mindful parenting, but conscious parenting उतना नहीं होता है. Quality time, quality time नहीं होता है. They just need your time, I think. You be
Wow.
around, they can be doing anything. You can be reading a book, you can be on your laptop, doesn't make too much of a difference, as long as they keep seeing you, going from one room to another, one moment to another hour, 2 hours, maybe they don't see you, but they see you again, going back to sleep, going. Well, there are a lot of a lot many fathers who don't get to see their kids other than weekends, because they
True.
leave early, they go to school, you wake up late because you are a late sleeper, and so on and so forth.
True.
And by the time you come, they are asleep and things like that. So I think somewhere these equations always make a lot of difference in the sense of connectedness. And I think good parenting, good fatherhood essentially boils down to how connected you are, how much in the know of your child are you. If you know your child, you'll be able to build in those elements which help the child's self image. If not, you'll be giving lectures, and lectures lectures don't
Wow.
work. If
Amazing.
yeah, and if you can show them what you want to tell them, I think there is nothing better than that. And I think that these are some of the basics that I can share with you as we go along, you know.
I think it's, sometimes the situation looks a lot more complicated, and you've broken it down and really simplified it for us. And I love the way Woodpecker Media has actually put it across that with the four of you and your experiences, we're actually going to be navigating through fatherhood. So I absolutely love the way you simplified the entire thing. And now moving to Romit, I would love to know from you. They say it's the small, small things, it's the little gestures here and there that really go a long way. What, according to you, are the touchstones for healthy parenting?
See, I frankly feel that every parent, and as a father, I'm saying that I'm an actor, and there are times when I'm working 12 hours, 14 hours a day, and I try to be as involved in my daughter's day-to-day
Right.
activities as much as possible, you know. And like if she has an annual concert day, I make sure that if I'm shooting also on that particular day, those number of hours I'm going to
Right.
take out and I'm going to attend school and come back. If it's a sports
Yeah.
day, I'm going to be there for her. So these important, and it matters a lot to children that
Yeah.
my father has come, for a sports day or an annual concert day. In fact, my daughter, there are times when she asks me to come and just pick her up from school, and so that makes her day, and that is what is most beautiful, and like when I asked Reha that, Reha, which has been the most memorable time you spent with
Hmm.
me so far,
Hmm.
in the last 8 years, and she tells me things which are very simple, like, Papa, you remember we played this game, and this is what we made, and that other day when we were reading books together in my tent house, or something like a holiday together. So children, especially my girl, what she likes is attention. She likes the fact that her father is with her, playing a sport or cycling, or spending half a day with her, and that is what I look forward to.
That is really, really beautiful. I think sometimes it's just being there at the small, small, milestones in their lives that really do go a long way. For that matter, we would love to know from Akshat, who I'm sure has already done his dad so, so proud. But how much of his voice do you hear inside you when you're performing there on that huge platform? How much is he there for you hands on and all those little, little turning points of your life?
Okay, so the first thing I would like to say that over here everyone is a dad and I am the son. So
Yes. Akshat, today you're not just the son, but you're the voice of probably representing all the children and all that they have to say to their fathers. So it's a very powerful voice that you need out there.
thank you, thanks Lord. So for me, let me first start with a mantra.
Okay.
Om Tramyakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiv Bandhananam Mrityor Mukshya Mamritam. So this is the Maha Mantra of Lord Shiva, and I want to thank Lord Shiva for giving me such a beautiful gift in my life, and that is my dad. For me, my dad is the unsung hero of my life. Right now I'm 15 years old, and in these 15 years old of my life, my dad was with me. He was the pillar behind me. He's the guiding and hiding force of my life. He's the director of my success, and really few people know him, that he's the person behind my success. So the two people whom I can't forget in my life, the first is the person who lost everything just to make me win. That was my dad. And the second person who was with me in the thick and thin moments of my life, my mom. For me, my dad is just like a superhero. He sacrificed everything in his life just to make me win. When I was small, I really loved to dance. Dance was my passion. It was in my blood. It was my hobby. But everyone thought like he's a fat boy. How can he dance? He's really fat. They had a really bad mindset that if he's fat, he can't dance. But there were only two people on this planet who had faith on me, my mom and my dad. My dad had a lot of faith on me. He gave me a lot of confidence, and that faith and that confidence made me achieve success in my life. He always gave me a lot of values that I can learn from him. For me, he is a hero, a great person. For me, he's just like my God. I love my dad, of
Wonderful.
course.
Of course you do, and there's no reason why you shouldn't. And I'm sure he loves you too. I think Akshat has really thrown light on all of us, as for all of y'all as fathers, and for me also, for all parents, I would say, on how huge this responsibility of believing in your child is. And if you really do, and you actually are, have the courage to go all the way with it, look at the wonders you can create. Look at the way you can change the world. So congratulations to your dad, and please wish him a very happy Father's Day, and tell him he's
Sure.
doing a fabulous job. Now coming back to Brahmanand, I think this question is very valid for you, because every couple of decades there is a huge change in society, in parenting, in the kind of exposure that our children have. But I think you've seen the changing times. You've seen the different challenges over the last probably 2 decades in parenting. The challenges today are probably very different from what they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And at a different, and with every different age come a whole set of different questions. So, how tough or how easy has it been for you to navigate through fatherhood in all these 18, 19 years?
So I think the best part about it is that the essentials remain the same. Times change, a few things here and there change, but essential remains the same. Okay, on a Father's Day today, I was told that the sun went away, but you waited for some time and the sun came back, the solar eclipse, right?
Yes, yes.
So I think that while you are growing up your child and while the child is growing, there will be obsessions, there will be hobbies, there will be things that may not seem right, and may seem very damaging कि यार it can be very worrying कि यार ये ऐसे अगर होने लगेगा तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. But you have to again show your trust, show your understanding, do guide it, don't try to control it. I think that has been my mantra right from the beginning, that I have been a guide and not a controller. And I think because control creates a lot of bitterness inside, a lot of anger inside, denial. There was a friend of mine whose daughter had done a very interesting research on two different sets of children, one of entrepreneurs and artists and things like that, and the other was on the clerical range of parents. And they found that whereas one set of children received 8 yeses to 2 nos, the other one received 7 nos to 3 yeses for anything that the
Okay.
child would come and ask. Yes, if they're playing with something and something has broken, there's hell that breaks loose if you're not a very mature parent, because you fault the child, you abuse him of destroying something and things like that, and it's terrible because he's not done it on purpose. So
Right.
again, all those yes, all those things that don't label the child, label the act. And hold on, I mean, a cup has broken, a vase has broken, maybe a very precious one, but he's not more precious than your child. He's not more precious than your child's self image. So I think that these things, so for me, it has been very simple. In different age phases, I have seen different obsessions, different
Right.
passions grow, and I have tried to accept it, and I have tried to support it. If things I have found healthy, I have tried to encourage it. If I've sometimes felt that it's not so healthy, I've tried to curtail it by setting examples rather than, um, you know, if you're telling your child, don't use cell, you're using too much of it, your eyes will go bad, and then he sees you use it, non-stop 7 hours a day, then it doesn't make any sense to him, you know. So yeah,
True.
so you have to set examples. I think they learn much more by what they see you do rather than by what you're telling them to do. And if you are telling them, I have found a discussion, a talk at all stages very, very helpful. I have seen a lot of parents who shout and dismiss and create rules and believe in punishment and things like that. And I found that there's a lot of grudge, a lot of bitterness, a lot of dormant anger inside a child, and that's not a very healthy child that you're growing. But if you have explained the child certain things and 9 out of 10 cases it works, and the child knows that you are making him or her understand the things, so I think at all stages I found conversations very beautiful, and I found communication the key. There's a brilliant set of books called How to Talk to Your Child So That Your Child Listens, and How to Listen So That Your Child Talks. I think
Oh,
both are
beautiful.
equally important.
Wow.
Sometimes you're not listening. Your child is telling you, and you're on your phone, you're on a newspaper, you're on a book, you're in a rush to leave for office. Nothing will happen if you listen
Absolutely.
to your child for 3 minutes. Even if you're getting late for your work, you will miss a train, you'll miss a cab, Ola might be down there waiting for you. Your driver might be down there waiting for you. It's okay. 3 minutes. Give him that confidence that okay, my dad is listening to me. It makes a sea of a difference. And I think that when you know how to communicate properly, when you know how to listen, and you know how to talk, okay, I think it starts working in a beautiful way, because the other person gets the sense of communication. It's not just one way diatribe and like lessons and moral gyan and always. So I think completely regular ongoing conversations, understanding, listening to your child, whatever he's talking, try and find sense. There is some sense in what. Don't dismiss your child by non-attention. I think a lot of us dismiss our child not in formal words but in non-attention. I think attention is needed. Whatever you
Yes.
focus on grows, and I think if you focus on your child will grow. And by growth, I don't
Wow.
just mean physical growth, but I mean
Right. Mentally.
of space.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I think very beautifully put. Keeping the communication channels open go a long way. The child should be fearless. So we know there isn't anything that they're scared to come and tell us, and there's no need to hide something can totally be taken out of the question. I think that's a very, very important, way of looking at it for most of us, even as our kids grow. Manav, interestingly, in this whole lockdown, you have started learning French with your daughter. Very interesting. What inspired you to doing that, and how's that going?
So it's going great. I think so. It was very important for me because when one is shooting, you find very little time to spend with your family, right? And more so with Zahra. And these are such crucial years. I feel that every minute that I spend with her is an investment in terms of time and my being. So and she was keen on French because she has got half French cousins, and we visited them, and then they would internally
Oh,
speak in
wow.
French. So then she would wonder what they're talking, and this is daddy what they're saying. मुझे टूटी फूटी आती थी. I don't know, like I'm not fluent with French. So I said, how about this? Let's learn. Let's both learn. So we started as at zero. The good part about learning French is that I know. I mean, we both are students, and we start at the same stage. So I don't know more than her, and we also have been against the idea of comparison or measuring one's capabilities on basis of marks or such things. There's no anklan of a child happening basis who's
Yes.
better or that. So we both have started the journey, and it's a great thing because she'd come up to me and say, Dad, the moss or jo bhi hai, then you not learned that. I've done my homework. So yeah, French, I think it's a great way that we are bonding over learning something. It happens to be French, so it's great. Yes.
Yeah, and I think the honesty with which a child takes on to learning something is really something that we all need to learn from.
Sure.
So I
So
think that
diligent.
is, yeah, so diligent that I think that's what makes the grasping power also so much more, since they're so focused. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful exercise you're doing and really
Sure.
food for thought actually.
Yeah,
Akshat,
it's working.
absolutely. Akshat, when you dance, you are happy. Everyone around you is happy. You make the world happy. And it's really beautiful, your journey. Like you said, when you started dancing, people were shocked. They were surprised. Tell us about your journey and also how much of this do you give credit to your dad for being an inspiration, his journey from Howrah to London. Wow, absolutely amazing. So, how much of him did you hero worship to actually have the confidence to making your mark on the international stage?
So I would like to say that Indian dads are really unique. They are
Okay.
just like coconut. They are really hard from outside and soft from inside. क्योंकि
Wow.
क्योंकि पिता वो होता है जो बचपन में अपने बच्चे के लिए खिलौना होता है। पिता वो होता है जो नींद में अपने बच्चे को अपने पेट में बिछौना की तरह सुला देता है। और पिता अपने बच्चों के सपनों को पूरी करने की एक जान है, और यही भारतीय पिता की पहचान है। So Indian dads are really unique, as I said you. And yeah, I have two mottos in my life. First, to be happy and make others happy, and second, to show everyone that nothing is impossible in our life. So why do I say that be happy and make others happy? Because right now in this world, people are really busy doing their work, earning money, bungalows, cars, diamonds, and everything. But they don't think about one thing, that they can't enjoy their life. They are not happy. They are not positive from inside. And that's why I say we should be happy, because I do things that makes me happy. By dance, it makes me happy, so I dance. I like to eat because it makes me happy. So I do these things because it makes me happy, and if you are happy, then you can make others happy. And the second motto, that is nothing is impossible in our life, is connected to the first motto, because if you are happy, then you can do the things that looks impossible, and then you can achieve success. And in both these things, my dad has played a really important role. He has given me a lot of important values. He always said me that we should always wait for the chance, and when the chance comes, we should grab it. Let me say you one of the quotes of our late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said that when the flood comes, the fish eats the ant, but when the water dries, the ant eats the fish. So we should always try to wait for our chance, and when the chance comes, we should grab it. And my dad also said me that you can get success, but to retain that success, it's really difficult. And from the last 10 years, he has been saying me, you can do that only and only if you are humble, if you respect others. If you are humble, then you will retain that success. You should never forget the first stair, because when you reach at a certain height, and if you forget that stair, when you fall, you will be finished. So yeah, my dad has played a really important role in my life.
Akshat, you really amuse me. You truly are a marvel. It's just so amazing hearing you. Lovely. Please keep thinking this way, because I think you're going to change the world step by step with this approach of yours. Romit, we are through this wonderful panel that Woodpecker Media has put up for us today on Father's Day, which also happens to be so many things. Today is International Yoga Day, Music Day, and I think a great day to actually get so many of our viewers and listeners in together for a very relevant conversation, which is needed right now, not just in this lockdown, but with the moving times. Which is why I would also like to encourage anyone that's listening and watching us, if you want to put some questions out there for our panel, now would be a good time. But coming back to Romit, like Brahmanand sir said, keeping the communication channel open, listening as well as you do, just talking to your child. And I think just keeping that friendly relationship and that space open where they know they can come and say pretty much anything and everything to you. Are you also on the same page, and how much of that do you follow? Yeah, Romit, just unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Pooja, before I answer your question, I would like to request you that 25 years from now, when Akshat is 40 years old, and when his boy or daughter is on the show on Father's Day, I would like to be invited as well, because I can see Akshat saying such wonderful things. It's beautiful. He's such a wise guy, and God bless you, Akshat, and your father. He's bringing it up so well. It's beautiful. It's really nice to hear the wise wisdom, which he's given you and what you're speaking. It's wonderful. So you got to promise me first that 25 years from now, I'm going to be invited on Father's Day.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Coming back to your question, Pooja, I must say that, and coming back to your question, Pooja, I would like to say that yes, I completely agree to what Singh sir was saying, that we must be friends with our kids. Friendship is the key to break the ice, because in today's time, and I can say
Right.
this as a father, as a first-hand experience, that my daughter, when I explain her something with love, and whenever, if I've taught her something, whether it's cycling or whether it's playing a sport, badminton, or for that habit, for that matter, picking up a hobby like reading, or dancing. It's all happened when I have been a part of it with her as a friend, and at the same time always encouraged her, and not been like put anything which has been forced upon her. So I think doing anything in terms of being friendly to a child or being friends with it is the most amazing and the right approach. And in today's time, especially when unfortunately there are a lot of kids, there are a lot of I have seen it very closely that there are few parents, like there are so many kids who are going through broken homes, and they don't have that communication with their parents, and I can see that they need a friend to talk to. And in times like this, when children also, they are so well protected, I think it's very important that any important thing happening in their life, whether it's in school or whether it's outside school where parents are not there in front of them, they should come back
True.
home and share with the parents.
True, and I'm so glad you're following that as well. And now a question for all the fathers, actually, and I'm going to ask you all one by one. A father plays so many roles: the protector of the family, the role model, the teacher, the guide, the mentor. But very often it's the mothers in all the limelight. In this whole process, do you feel? Let me start with Manav first. Do you feel that somewhere all the hardships that a father goes through to actually take on this very challenging role goes unnoticed?
I wouldn't care, honestly, Pooja, because I
Yeah.
think the reward of one having a daughter, and I think as a father, one exercises or starts exercising selflessness. And in that selflessness, the joy of providing is something that I thrive on, right? That's one. And the second part is I would never compare my contribution with that of Shweta's, for that matter, because I was there when Zara was delivered in the room, and for the rest of my life, I'm indebted. So I can never
Wow.
match up to what a woman can do for a child, or what she goes through, But as a father, I think I really enjoy doing everything for the family, and that's what drives me. So I don't complain.
That is really, really sweet. I want to ask, take this question to Brahmanand. So, with another perspective on it altogether. So, double the work for you. You've single parented your son, and he's all grown up now. He's an adult. How hard has your journey been? And how unsung do you really think fathers are unsung heroes?
So I will go exactly with what Manav said, in the sense that credits are not important. When a child is growing, you can't pinpoint what's mother's contribution, what's father's contribution. There's a lot of contribution. There's a lot of damages that both the parents do. So how
Very
do you
true.
pinpoint? I think, like for example, I mean, my child has asked me sometimes that, Baba, what was the song that I sent you? Did you listen to it? Okay, what was the last thing that I've done? He's asked me point blank, and I have been
Oh,
vulnerable because he had sent me and I have not gone through it. So I think those are the
oh,
moments that I've tried to be human. I've just said, I've shown him my fragile side, my faulty side, and I've apologized for it. And it's been a learning point for me. So you don't need to show a perfect side of yours. That is also a very important thing, that because they need to show that you can make a mistake, you can say sorry, because that's how they learn how to say sorry. Otherwise, they never learn how to say sorry, really. And there are some parents who sometimes who never believe in apologizing to their children. I
wow.
think it does, or they find it a sign of weakness, that my son will think that I'm not powerful or important or something. But coming back to your question, I feel that most houses, even with double parents,
Hmm.
uh, they are largely lopsided. Either the mother is taking too much care, or father is taking too much care. Mostly it's mothers. you know
Right.
Fathers have a much lesser role, so to say, visibly, because the father thinks that, well, he has a job to do, and he steps out and he has long hours, and he is justified
Right.
in having the business lunches and business dinners, and come home late, and fly to Tokyo, and fly to New York, and fly to. So yeah, that's part of my job. Well, that's what brings us the money. um, but I don't think that's really important. I think that uh, for me, it's, well, there have been portions when I have done the single fatherhood. There have been portions when I have done the minus fatherhood uh, uh, job. So I think that it's not so easy to define, but I think that essentially what they need from both the parents, and if there are phases where it comes to you, it should not come to you, but if it comes to you that you are single-handedly growing up your child, go to the basics, go to love, care, affection, their needs, understanding. If you are fulfilling that, they won't find the miss of the other parent. Okay, if you're not doing that, if you say that, well, no, so sorry, like cooking was your mom's responsibility, I can never cook, like, well, you can say that, but still, if there are four things that he likes and you can cook it, try to cook it. Okay, it's no big deal. Okay, I'm not talking just about cooking, I'm talking about
For
the
example,
food.
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, 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 for example. So I
I
think
think it's
single parenting is all about how do you combine the responsibilities of two single-handedly, and nothing more than that. I mean, it's generally considered that it's a very huge issue and very huge responsibility. ये सब actually कोई responsibility है ही नहीं, ये मतलब हम इसको इतना कैटलॉगिंग कर देते हैं, कैटेगराइज कर देते हैं. कॉन्शियस पेरेंटिंग आजकल नया हो गया है. हमारे माँ बाप ने हमको बड़ा किया, इतना सोच सोच के कभी नहीं बड़ा किया. हम बड़े हो गए,
बहुत so
and
beautiful, so beautiful.
and their contribution. There were things that today I remember, which they said. They never planned those things and said, but they just said it. And it's not necessary that I agreed with them at that point of time, but I do agree. But there is a way in which they said it. And the same thing, if they would have damaged me, I may have always been, triggered in terms of the opposite reaction whenever. So I think basically understanding yourself, understanding your child. If you do these two things, and I mean, not not have too much of expectation. I think that kills any relationship, whether it's two lovers or husband wife or father son. I have done this for you. Why? What have you done for me? I think that should be taken out from the equation with any relationship. Whether it's boss and colleague, whether it's two colleagues, it should be a completely banned thing. I have done this for you. What have I done for you? Please, there are things that everyone has done for you, which you have no idea. You are not existing alone. I'll tell you a tiny story, about Arjun when he had to shoot that fish by looking into the eye. Okay, and looking into the reflection in water. And Arjun went and asked Krishna for help, and Krishna said that, look, I can't do anything. You have the arrow, you have the bow, it's your aim. You have to practice. Go, if you are uncertain, go and practice for 2 hours. That's the best that I can tell you. So Arjun got angry and he said that, you're my friend, you're my relative, you're God. If you can't do this, what can you do? And Krishna said, I will do that which you can never do. For that 1 minute, I will hold the water still for you, you know,
Wow.
so that there is no ripple and you can shoot. Otherwise, you'll never be able to do. And it stunned Arjun, and I think it should stun every one of us, that anything that we think today that we are achieving, that we are doing, that we are
I think Brahmanand sir's network is
what have I
a
done for
little bit.
you? What have
Yeah,
you
sorry.
done for me? Because if you take that out of equation, the relationship remains beautiful. And I think you talk about work, you talk about parenting, you talk about spouse relationship. It's beauty that really matters. Your best of things happen when the bonding remains beautiful and not calculating and transactional. So I think
Definitely
that's how I.
food for thought. Yeah, it's definitely food for thought. How much of parenting is actually as complicated as we make it out to be? Is it really that complicated, or is there always a simpler approach? Do we pressurize ourselves too much? Do we expect too much from ourselves? Are we trying to be the best moms, the best dads in our, friend circle, in the class?
बेस्ट
Is it
बेस्ट
important?
बेस्ट का तो पूजा कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं होना चाहिए,
Yeah.
मतलब
What is the best?
you
Exactly.
बेस्ट कोई नहीं है, मतलब like there is always someone better than you and someone worse than you. So who are you talking about? Your best is always a
Exactly.
reference point. You could bring in 57% in your class, and if your class has 30 people and the next person has gotten 56%, you're top in the class, but you're not best.
Yes, it's very
You have a
relative. I completely agree with you. Romit, how complicated is parenting to you? And coming back to the same question, how much credit do you think fathers actually, do you think they get their due credit for the contribution?
I make sure that I take all the credit. I I
Why
see to
not?
it that in this house, because I'm surrounded by women in this house, my mother, my wife, and my daughter. So on Father's Day or any other particular day, if I'm not getting my due credit, I make sure that I tell them that, hey guys, wake up, smell the coffee. It's all me. It's all because of me. It's happening. No, I'm just kidding.
How did
For
how did they make you feel special today?
My daughter, she made a beautiful card for me, and
Wow.
she has her own ways of doing her things, and she gifted me a bookmark, and so she has her, like honestly, very frankly, uh, every day is a Father's Day for me. Every day is a Mother's Day for me. Every day is a family day for me. I
True.
make sure that my mantra of life is Zindagi na milegi dobara. I live in the moment. I've done Vipassana. I believe in the present. And no matter what, today, like I'm just giving you a small example. The other day, unfortunately, I lost my father on the 5th of Feb this year. And,
Oh, that's really
I
sorry to
was
hear
listening
that.
to, yeah, and, this, 2 days back, I was listening to Sikandar Kher and Anupam Kher on live chat on Instagram. So father and son were chatting, and I was really wanting to listen to what they were saying. And they were talking about current topics. They were talking about father and son relationship, and that's the time when my daughter, she just came up to me, and she comes up to me and she says, "Dad, I want you to talk to me." And like, and इस घर में यही होता है कि जब मैं live chat पे होता हूँ तो everybody wants to talk to me. Nobody understands that I am on a live chat. So and I got a little wokey. I said, "Neha, I'm going to talk to you later." And then she made a face and she said, "But I wanted you to play with me, and I want you to." And I just thought about myself. I said, I can watch this later, and at this moment I can make my daughter's day, like by giving her that time which she wants. And that's what I did. So, and children, I just feel this, that they're growing up, and आजकल के जो बच्चे हैं ना, वो ज्यादा ही attention मांगते हैं parents से, like, and they really are somewhere, like my mother says this, and I also believe that me and my brother, we were not so much clinging on to our parents, especially,
Hmm.
though we got all the love. But in today's time, I just see that my daughter needs me and my daughter and my wife. So I just feel that I give her all the attention possible. And when it comes to, like in my house, there are no such rules that, my wife is a working woman. She works, and like when I'm working, so we have our duties. We are not like कि ये आप करोगे और ये मैं करूँगा. We do. I cook. I'm an amazing cook. She cooks very well. We are in a lockdown situation. We mop the house, and my daughter sees that. She doesn't believe that पापा का ये काम है और मम्मा का ये काम है. Calm hai, and we have to do it with a happy face, and we have to enjoy the day. So
Modern
uh,
parenting at its best, absolutely, yes. And I think this lockdown has really brought new challenges, even for the children. There is, especially for the single children that are not in joint families, that are dealing with a whole different set of, issues in terms of loneliness, not interacting with another child for an extended period. ठीक है, 1 महीना 2 महीना आप एक और बच्चे से बात नहीं करो, it's okay. But अभी हमें ये भी नहीं पता that when is the next time our child is going to see another child's face. So that's an issue which we all living in Mumbai never thought we'd see. So I think that's brought about a whole new set of questions in front of us. But having said that, we live in very challenging times, and just as much as we try and keep things simple consciously, but there's still a lot that happens. There's still a lot of pressures, sometimes more so for the man, being the bread earner of the family. So my question is, to begin with, for you, Manav, that if you are having a weak moment, but just the awareness that knowing that you are the hero of the house, you're someone that your daughter idolizes, can you ever show her a meltdown? Can you ever show her a weak moment?
Yeah, sure. I just made a film in the lockdown period, and that film, she was a small part of it. The film was about that it's okay
Oh,
for a
wow.
man to, yeah. I think being vulnerable is not weakness, right? To give up, or as a matter of fact, I feel these kids are so insulated. Their childhood is so different than what we lived. So I
Yes.
think इतने ज्यादा protected है, इतने ज्यादा insulated है, इनको बुरा ना लग जाए, इनका upbringing correct हो. There's so much goes into parenting that I sometimes worry of how are they going to build resistance or resilience to circumstances and situations.
Yeah.
So I think it
God
is
forbid
all
life.
right. I'm
Yeah.
sure, they will have challenges, and if I'm only going to protect her from every tear that she might want to shed, then how is she going to learn how to do what she needs to do? So I think Singh Saab also said that it is all right, for a man to apologize, and they learn from that, and that's what I would want my daughter to be. See, the way we are bringing kids today, there's hardly any gender difference, at least in the mindset that we,
Absolutely.
I personally. Uh, and if she's got to be strong, then it is all right for her to know that it's okay to feel weak, and it's absolutely okay. So I think I don't portray strength. As a matter of fact, there's a small exercise that we do because I want to know what are her challenges. uh, so, so when I'm praying, let's say I'm a Buddhist and I chant, and when I'm chanting, sometimes she disturbs me. So I said, one day I said, Zara, I'm focusing on something very minute right now. Can you just leave me for a bit? So she says, what is it? So then I said, nothing. Something's. So then she says, so you're worried about something? I said, yes, I am.
Hmm.
Would you not want to share that with me? So I actually stopped praying. I gave her that point and I said, you know what? Well, let me see if I can try and explain this to you. It's complicated. And then I explained the situation to her the way it was. To my surprise, at 7.5, 8, she said nothing. She just hugged me and she just went away. So I think they are
Yeah.
very capable of learning every emotion. I don't want to just, I feel they should not just be insulated all the time. It's okay for them to
Being
see a
real
weak
is
dad.
key. And being
Yeah.
real and being in touch with the real life out there is definitely key. It's something I try and follow as well. And I'm so happy to know that we're all on the same page. Akshat, having said that, you've always looked up to your dad. So I want to know the son's view on this. Have you ever seen him in a low moment? If yes, how do you respond to that?
Um, till now, in front of me, he has never been such a moment in front of me till now. He has never gone to such sad moments or something. He has always been cheerful in front of me, confident, joyful, happy, full of positiveness, and he always told me that in life, good things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen. For example, right now it's the COVID time, so it's a bad phase of our life. So what can we do right now? What's the thing we can do? So we need to look at the brighter side of this time. It's a negative point, but we need to make it a positive point by looking at the brighter side. So what brighter side we can look at? So right now we can, it's a really good time for me to enhance my skills. If you have a brother or sister, you can also help her to enhance his skills. You can also, you have got a chance to you have a quality time with your family. You, for example, right now it's the summer vacations time, and we always go to tours somewhere, but right now we all can't go some to anywhere. So what we can do is we can take the old albums, take that, look at those albums, have a coffee, so that it can give a lot of positive vibes to you. That's the really important thing. And till now my dad always told me um that never take rest after your first win. As I said you, because lips are ready to say that your first win was a luck if you lose the second one. And also, we all know that in this world the uh, give and take policy takes place. Doodh do dahi lo, like that thing. But my dad, every dad actually, he always gives everything. He always gives everything. He guides you, he beats you, he scolds you, he tells you what's right, what's wrong. But when you achieve success in your life, he doesn't want that success. He only wants one thing: to be known by the name of his daughter or son. So for example, like he's walking and a person says, look, he's Akshat's dad. That makes him happy, that makes him proud. That's the only thing I can give him. That's the respect that I can give him. And my dad has played a really important role in my life. He was always with me. He doesn't need any sort of money or anything, any sort of bungalows, cars, anything from me. He just needs respect from me, that I will give him, because he has sacrificed his life for me. My mom has also played a really important role in my life, because we all know that all the moms play a really important role. They wake up in the morning, make our tiffins. Sometimes they make really good tiffins, but sometimes if it is bad, we always say her like, wow, what is this, mama, kya banaya? She also hears that. She takes care of us. In the night she sleeps late at night, but in the morning she gets up early. She always, whenever I come for my dance practice or my taekwondo practice, she's always over there to take care of me. My food is ready. She always whenever I have pain, she always has the Volini, Borolin, anything. So she plays a really important role, and she's the person that she controls my dad. Whenever like he's angry or something, she comes in between. She's really important to me, because I can share all these secrets which I can't share to my dad. I can share that secrets to my mom. So both are really important in my life.
Yes, I think both play their roles beautifully, Akshat, in your case. And like Manav said, there's really no gender discrimination left as such now in the way we raise our children. And like Romit said, even as parents, both are doing, both their roles. And there's really a fine line between. I think it's all evened out pretty beautifully as time moves forward now. Similarly, I'd like to know Romit's view again. But before that, I'd like to say that, for all our listeners on this Woodpecker Media page, now would be a great time to bounce whatever questions you want to, because this opportunity to have a panel like this on a special day like this doesn't come very often. So if there's anything you think I've missed asking and you want to know more about from our esteemed panel, now is a great time to shoot your questions. Coming back to you, Romit, do you ever show your weak side to your daughter?
Uh, honestly, if I'm a little sad or upset about something, I'm a very, thank God and touch wood that I'm a very, my wife, keeps telling me that, Romat, you smile all the time, you know. So I tell Tina, I said, Tina, is this a problem? It's like, so, there are, whatever the situation is, highs or lows, I'm smiling. And if I have, had a bad moment or a low point, and if I'm quiet, my daughter, she comes up and she'll tell me something, and she understands that Papa is a little stressed or tired and things like that, and then she just tells me that, let's play or let's do something else. So it's not like, it's completely fine. And my daughter, like touchwood, this is a very small thing which I'm saying, but it's a very important thing that whenever we walk into a toy store, my daughter makes sure that, she's not demanding, like, she, if I tell her to buy this or that, she's not like, she's very careful with the money spent, which is a very good thing. Yeah, and whenever we play this game called Life, I must say this, that when you play games like Monopoly or Life or Scotland Yard or any board game with a child, and my daughter is giving up, for some reason, that she's seeing that I'm winning, and she says that, Papa, aap ye game jeet jaoge, and let's shut the game. And I say, Reha, never give up hope, because we are halfway through the game and you might win. And that's exactly what happens. Halfway through the game, she wins, and I tell her, I said, repeat what I said, never give up hope. And that is what is key. Like, there are so many things when you do with a child, and these are, this is the truth of life. You should never give up hope.
That is so beautiful. And I think, Romit, if you have managed already at the age of 8 to instill the value of money in your child, you've already won half the battle. Because with changing times, our children are also being exposed to so much more. I think today, apart from the basic things that you have to instill in them, you have to also instill a lot more value, more so because of, the kind of world that they are in. Coming to another very important, angle on which I'd like to take this discussion, and starting with Brahmanand sir, is that parenting has changed a lot in the last 30 years. The kind of challenges, also how differently the roles were divided between mothers and fathers are very different as we look at it today in our own homes also. So, what are your views on this, sir?
Like I said, earlier also, that you have times which have changed in terms of its physical contours. So you didn't have television once upon a time. So the entire family would gather together in the evening, chit chat, would eat together, and things like that. Then your television came first, was the first disruption in a way, in the sense that people started looking at, but still they would gather together. Then came the fashion where everyone became a little well off, and the thin screens, and every room had a television who could afford it. And then the sitting together and watching any one particular channel whose decision it would be the grandmother or the father or the child. It depends, started vanishing. And I feel that that was still much better, that people would watch things together. Or and with the cells, things have changed completely. Now there are certain guidelines which you need to do to retain the age old values. Age old value means that there are some, say, 5 or 10 basics which always makes for a healthy relationship, healthy growth, healthy education. So as long as those are addressed in whatever way, times will change, technology will change. We have to face it. We have to equip them with responsibilities as well with that. So give them a cell, there's no problem. There's that joke that's going on, that first they said that you can't bring the cells to the school. Now they said to have education you must have cells, because everyone is having online education. So technology will change, but give them responsibilities, give them some kind of a checkpoints which they themselves are inspired to follow, rather than, I feel that push works, sorry, pull works, push does not work. Which is why, no matter how many, even with people, uh, a whole lot of us keep doing a lot of these things which someone tells you to do, and then you do workshops, and you have an entire HR, thrive on it. Billions of dollars are being spent on nurturing emotional intelligence and leadership and this and that, but it's all push, you know
Yes,
so
yes,
if there's inspiration, motivation and inspiration. Motivation is change in action. Inspiration is change in thinking. So first, if you can address that in whatever simpler way, there was a 15-year-old child whose father wanted him to play for the school basketball representation, and he was very average. His father would take him for practice and would sit there and talk to the child, would tell the coach that, I want to play for the school, and the coach would say, yes, you should do this, should focus on this, all those things. And he was never beyond a certain average. One gap of 15 days, and he comes, and the school match is the next day, and he tells the coach that, sir, I want to play for the school tomorrow. And the coach laughs. Coach says that the team has been selected. You know that there are better players than you, son. You need to practice. You have not managed to practice. He said that, sir, and he said that you have not been there for 15 days. So he says, okay, you watch me today, and if you think that I'm good, take me, please. I would be indebted to you if tomorrow I can play. I have my reasons. So he performed like crazy on that day, you know He pocketed the ball, he jumped, he had energy, he had everything. The coach was astonished, and the coach said that, this is mind blowing. Yes, son, you are in the team, but tell me what exactly happened. Said that
Hmm.
was there a transformation? Was there something that I was missing on the other days? And he said that, so it's little difficult to understand, but it's little difficult to explain. But tomorrow, now that you have taken me, tomorrow my father will be watching me play. So he says, but your father used to come here for your practice, and he never. I don't see him today. The gentleman with dark glasses, and the son was a little, steady, and he said that he wore the dark glasses because he couldn't see. So on all the other days, I could take him for a ride. He never knew what I was practicing. I was lazy. I was not motivated, but I lost him 12 days back. You know, so tomorrow he will be watching me play. You know, and that's the reason that I do or die. I want to play tomorrow, and I'm so happy you have taken me. Now, that to me is inspiration. You know, there is a
Yes,
change in
absolutely.
his thinking, there is a change in his heart. Because of that change, he's able to perform. There's a brilliant story of Navjot Sidhu, which he had narrated, that he saw his father hiding a newspaper, and he took that, and the Rajan Bala, the cricket critic, had written that strokeless wonder Navjot Sidhu, and he had scored some 22 runs playing 100 balls. And he said that I've never seen my father cry, High Court judge, MLA, this, that, and I've never seen my father cry. And he said that I cut that piece, I stuck it in my cupboard so that I can see that every day. And I dispersed all my colored clothes to servants and relatives and everyone. I just gave. I just retained the white clothes. And I went and and I started practicing. My daily target was 125 sixes I must hit. Whether it takes me 2 hours on net practice or 6 hours, does not matter. I will complete. He said that
Wow.
my wrist had gotten bruised, it would hurt, but I said no, I must do, I will do. The result was he got the next series that he played, he did well. Very soon he played the World Cup, which he had 5 back-to-back 50s, which was a record then. I think it still is.
It's
And
amazing.
he said that when we were boarding the flight for Sharjah, Ravi Shastri tossed up Khalij Times, and he said that, Sid, see something. There's something very nice written about you, and it was an article by the same Rajan Bala, which said from a strokeless wonder to a compelling stroke player, or something like
Oh
that.
my God. Wow. What a story of inspiration.
I think what I'm trying to share is that you need to have motivation. Motivation is change in action, but that happens only when there is inspiration, where there is change in thinking. So how you manage to do that, I think, is what, at any point of time, these are basics, Pooja. They don't change. 30 years back also it was the
Absolutely.
same. 20 years from today it will still be the same. The technological things we need to live with. We need to equip them with
Absolutely.
responsibilities. And the moment you do that in a thinking way, in a mindful way, they all pick it up very well. I think children are very, very sharp, and they are very good. Nobody is born evil. Nobody is born a
Oh,
coward.
yes,
Nobody is
absolutely.
born, it's the thwarting that does, which takes them away these
So,
qualities.
so true. Absolutely. In fact, I think it really makes us, think about how high the bar is set by our fathers. We've got very little time left, so I'm going to take two quick questions. In fact, we've got a lot of questions coming in. I request everyone to put themselves on mute. What I'm going to request is maybe just one of you answer the questions in about 2 sentences, because we pretty much navigated through fatherhood pretty beautifully through this and touched on every single topic. But we've got Vidhi Sharma asking us, most kids find their dad being egoistic and dominating, and it becomes frustrating for kids and they grow up as insecure people. What do you have to say to those fathers about how to be compassionate? So, Manav, can I request you to pick this answer in just about 2, 3 sentences, please?
Sure. Thank you. And I'd like to revisit what Singh Saab said at one point. He said, what more than any other way of teaching the kids how to conduct themselves, the best would be to behave the way you would want them to conduct. So I think, my question is, would I want my child to be egoistic, go out in the society and be high-handed and fall so many times? Or would I want the person to embrace reality? So I think with that as a consequence, if I can correct my actions, might be it's not too late yet.
Lovely. Romit, the next one's for you. Supriya R. Bhasin is saying all fathers don't communicate as much as mothers do. What are the other ways you suggest they can show their love? And I'd also like to combine another question in saying, is there, because we're speaking of communication, I'd like to combine another question here saying, is there any topic that is hard for fathers to discuss with their children?
See, firstly, I would like to request all the fathers on Father's Day that no matter what, we need to change with times. And in today's time, I just feel that we need to be very communicative to our children. I like, everybody says that, mothers have a softer side. I think dads also have a very soft side. And it's all about characters, like what character the man has. Like if he's a introvert, or if he is somebody who has had a father who's not very communicative, he would want to have that same relationship with his son. So I just feel I would like to request all the fathers that please communicate. I think look at your wife, look at the way she's being a mother to the child, and try to get the best from your wife, how she's being a mother, I would say.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I would like to,
True.
so I would like to suggest that. And secondly, I would like to say that what was the second question, Pooja? Can you repeat that,
The
please, for me?
second question is by Hira Mehta, who says that, it just in my own words, that is there any topic that is hard for fathers to address with their children?
Yes, yes.
That you're
I feel
uncomfortable
that,
talking about with your child and you'd rather leave that to the mother?
right. So, my daughter is going to be 8 now, and there might be, like things which she might be more comfortable talking to her mother, as she grows up, might be like, I'm just assuming, might be puberty stage, or something which I discuss with Tina sometimes that, before we discuss with kids, I think they'll get to know from school. Today, children are so
Yeah.
smart that, they will discuss with themselves. And the child, then it's upon her that she might come and ask Tina about mother. She might be more comfortable talking to her, or else if she feels that I'm going to be talking to her, if she comes and speaks to me about it. So the fact that the child needs to be comfortable coming back home and talking to either of the parent. So I have no issues if my daughter comes back and speaks about a certain topic which she feels more comfortable with the mother. And fair enough, I would love to make her feel comfortable that way. It's her choice at that moment, and I'll respect that. That's
It's,
going to be a
it's
daughter mother moment.
Right. It's nice to know that, there's no insecurity there and both the parents are on the same page. Both have their communication channels open. So it's up to the child. We can come and knock on any door and it's always going to be open. Before we sum this up, I'm going to come to each one of you, take your names and ask you how much of your parenting, three things from your childhood that you imbibed from your father in your parenting style. So Manav, first up, can you tell us three things from your childhood that you imbibed from your father and use it today as a part of your parenting style?
I think my father used to emphasize a lot on physical activities and sports because he was a sports person. And that's what I keep
Nice.
telling Zahra, that you're genetically strong. So make sure when I want to feed her, I think, I say, if you don't eat your protein, then how are you going to do your pull ups? So that's one thing that I, of course, the second is, I think the integrity of an individual that my father always inculcated in me, and the honesty. I think that also comes not with the manipulative mind, but the basic demeanor that I know it reflects in my bringing Zara up also. So I think offhanded, I can only think of these two things. Maybe there's a long list, but these
Yeah,
stipulated
of course.
questions scare me away.
Yes, but no, that's very valuable, and I think it's something that applies in every field because fitness and integrity, honesty, irrespective of what she chooses to do later in life, they're going to always be with her. Romit, would you like to pick that one? Three quick words.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that punctuality, which my father taught me. No matter what, be on time. We were, I still remember we used to be at the airports 1.5 hours before the flight. We
Yeah,
used to be in
wonderful.
railway stations. Yeah, we used to be hanging around in the railway stations for 2 hours
And
before the train left.
see in the current
So,
situation how useful that's gonna be, because in this situation, if you need to take a flight, you might just want to be there 4 hours before departure.
so
So
there
punctuality is
used to be a
one.
joke. Yeah, punctuality is one. Then, of course, kindness. Like if there is one chocolate at home, that chocolate is going to be divided into seven, eight pieces, and it's going
No,
to go to everyone. So we might have a small size of that chocolate, but we'll all share it together. And of course,
generosity goes
one
a
thing
long way, of course. Yeah, yeah.
yes, and the third thing, of course, my father, he was a very jovial person. He had a good sense of humor, and he used to laugh on, like if there was he had that knack of making a very serious situation also a little light on a lighter note, and he used to teach that. So I like that thing in my daughter. Like
Nice.
she's got that sense of humor, and
Yes,
she's also like if I tell her that Reha, there's a lot of homework, or like a small thing for her, and she has her own ways of saying it. Don't worry, and I'll sort it out. So I really like
wow.
that, and yeah, and her sense of humor I really like. At the age of
It's
8, it worries me at
nice.
sometimes.
No, but it's so nice to keep things light, especially with all that we're going through right now. Brahmanand sir, three quick words to describe what you've imbibed from your father in your parenting style. Three words to describe.
What I've imbibed, what I've inherited from my father, I think the one sense that whatever you do, do it mindfully and give your best to it. Your best may be short from many others, but it does not matter. The problem comes when you have not given your best. So I think that is a very
Absolutely.
important lesson that I learned from my father in so many different ways, that he would show. He would never tell these things. Telling started only when we started collating together some
True.
concepts. And the second, I think, most important thing was that he made me aware much early in life that, uh, and he used to say this in Hindi, and it basically means that nobody is big enough in this world to make anyone else feel small. You know, so how you
Very
make,
important to be
how you
humble,
sometimes
irrespective
make,
of what you
yes,
do.
how you sometimes make people feel determines who you are. If you're making someone else feel small in your battle for superiority, the smallness resides in you, not in the other person. So
True.
if you're confident, if you're assured, you will never make someone else feel small. So I think,
Absolutely.
and it's a very it's a very comparative world. There is someone who's better than you, someone who's worse than you, someone who's richer than you, someone who's poorer than you, someone who's more intelligent, someone who's less intelligent. So
True.
everyone's space is okay. Build tolerance, build allowance, build lovingness for anyone, and give them their dignity, their due, whoever it is. And I think
Yes, humility is a
these two
virtue
three
which
things,
is
I
very
think,
neat.
has I've found that these two three things have helped enormously in navigating life. Forget fatherhood.
Yes, and I'm sure you have instilled them in your son as well. Akshat, quickly coming to you, Romit has already predicted that in the next 20 years, we're going to be on another panel like this when you're going to be the papa. But I want to know from you in advance only that what is it that you already know that you are going to do the way your dad did with you when you become a parent? In three words, Akshat, please, because we're running out of time.
The first thing that is, do everything from the bottom of your heart. It doesn't matter if you're fat, slim, tall, short, black, white. It matters what we do from
Wonderful.
the bottom of our heart. The second thing that is, always try to be humble, never give up. Because when the chips are down, when there is darkness all around, the people who give up that time are blown away, and the people who don't give up that time achieve success in their life. And the third thing, that is, be simple but not a fool. Be simple but not a fool.
Wow.
And always follow your dreams, because one of the quotes that is said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, that dreams are not the things that comes in our sleep. Dreams are the thing that doesn't let us sleep. So everyone, do
Wow.
whatever you want to do, man. Do double, but do not trouble your dad.
Thank you all so much. Everyone's put their views across so wonderfully, but most importantly, right now, we should thank Woodpecker Media for actually giving us this chance, because we're all going to benefit from this conversation. Everyone involved in the panel, all our viewers. I think what we're going to actually summarize from this is that yes, communication channels being open both ways is very, very important. And parenting can be just as simple or just as complicated as we want it to be. And there's certain things with just as much as time may change and situations change and the stage our child's going through changes, but there's certain principles that never change. So like Brahmanand sir said, whenever you're confused, come back to the basics and you can't go wrong. Thank you once again, each and every one of you. And a very, very happy Father's Day, happy Yoga Day, happy Music Day, happy longest day of the year, happy solar eclipse day, happy everything. Thanks for being a part of this conversation. And thank you so much, Woodpecker Media, for really putting a wonderful, wonderful discussion together and for making me a part of it. I'm Pooja Kanwal and I'm going to sign off because I can keep talking. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.